which is a commercial real estate and blockchain one by International Realty. And then I have Joseph, which is a CEO of Milo Credit. So big hand of a round of applause for them. Woo! Okay, so I'm going to have you guys, starting with Madison, introduce yourselves and just say a little bit about what you do, who you are, and what got you into this wonderful real estate space.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Madison. I am a realtor with Oppenheim Realty and CEO of Crypto Real Estate. I've been in crypto since 2010. I have Miami's first and second highest crypto sale. I specialize in wallet-to-wallet transactions. And I am very excited to be here today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carly Chintzes, and I am a commercial real estate agent with One Sotheby's International Realty. I specialize in commercial properties, investments, development, and I help my clients make more money by entering the blockchain.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Mendelson. I'm a recovering music executive. I'm an executive in the Web3 blockchain space currently. And at night, I sling homes and real estate in Florida, primarily to the cryptocurrency community or Web3 blockchain community.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joseph Rapena. I'm the CEO and founder of Milo. And Milo focuses on working with international clients and clients that have crypto, and we give them mortgages. We're a venture-backed company. We're based here in Miami. We've raised $24 million from some great investors, and yeah, excited to be here.
And if you don't know who I am yet, I am the Bitcoin Queen. I will be moderating this beautiful group of people. And with that, first question for you guys, and feel free to jump at this answer. Can you tell me what is the difference between cryptocurrency transactions and traditional transactions in the real estate space?
Okay. Well, everyone knows, we use crypto. So it's two different ways. We either go wallet to wallet, or we leverage your crypto, which is some clients don't want to sell their crypto. Some have enough crypto where they don't necessarily care, or they want to use it. A lot of people are OGs in this space. So they've had Ethereum since 2014, 2015. And even today at $1,000, they don't mind selling it and or using it to buy real estate. It's just a way to diversify your assets. I think that's about it. If you guys want to jump in there.
Sure. So the difference that I have mostly seen, and to continue with like Madison's point, is that like diversifying assets is something huge. And usually people who are investing into real estate, it's because they've already made all their money. So the big crypto whales that we're seeing, and crypto whales is anybody who has over $5 million worth of cryptocurrencies, they're the main investors that we're seeing in the market. So it's very hyper specific to the actual crypto buyers for real estate properties, because for them, this is like, it's money. It's kind of like going to a casino and they had all these wins and they're like, okay, what am I going to do? How can I actually get value? And the place where you can get the most value for your money is in real estate.
What the difference for me between traditional real estate transactions and cryptocurrency transactions is that from a realtor perspective, first thing we ask is, well, what area do you want to live in? What's your budget? What are your wants in a house? For me, it's what cryptocurrency, how much cryptocurrency do you have? Do you have a job? What crypto are you holding? Because for me, I have to try to figure out how this client wants to finance their property, or how they're thinking about financing their property or purchasing their property, so that I can apply my crypto like lending strategy or my crypto financing strategy to that client. And then we can go ahead and figure out what, if I have a client who comes to me and says, I'm worth 10 million in crypto, if it's some XYZ token, that doesn't really resonate unless they actually convert the crypto into USD, and then they have that amount of USD that they can go buy property. But if they were like, I have 10 million in like Doge token and I want to buy a $10 million house, there's different strategies that I would use for that customer. Additionally, there are additional, based on whether they're doing a wallet to wallet, meaning meaning the seller is accepting crypto for the transaction, or the buyer's using crypto for the transaction. Is the buyer going to leverage the crypto to like borrow against the crypto, which we'll get into for the transaction? Are they going to convert it and then buy the property in cash? All these different things as a real estate agent we have to figure out before we can even start to show property for that client, because the strategy changes. Additionally, there's additional addendums that are used based on how that transaction is being structured. You may need a specialized lawyer who's not just a traditional real estate lawyer, but who also understands cryptocurrency. Then you got to figure out all the other complexities in the real estate transaction and make sure that you have the right pieces of the puzzle to understand this really dynamic, progressive space that few understand.
Joseph, real quick, can you tell me what are the benefits? Because I think Eric pretty much outlined why, but what are the benefits of having these crypto clients versus not having them or turning them away or even asking them to cash out?
Yeah, so we came out with the world's first 30-year crypto mortgage earlier this year. And the reason why we did that was because we were seeing the needs of clients that had crypto wealth, and they were being turned away from being able to actually get financing. And really their only option was to go out and sell their Bitcoin, their Ethereum, their other digital assets. And what that was doing is that was triggering a taxable event for them. So if they held it for over a year, it was a 24% taxable event. If it was a state like New York or California, significantly higher. So what we saw is that there was this opportunity to basically build this product where they could really not have to decide whether they wanted to buy real estate or keep their crypto. And at this point, we've had thousands of customers that have gotten pre-qualified for us with their crypto wealth in excess of $1 billion of crypto wealth today. And what we saw is that these weren't individuals that basically had bought Bitcoin or Ethereum 6 months ago. These were individuals that bought it 7, 8, 9 years ago. We have plenty of our clients that bought Bitcoin at $15. So for them, they've seen these cycles, and you have to stop and ask yourself and say, they've had plenty of time to buy real estate over the last 10 years. Why haven't they done it? And the reason was because this is where they made their wealth. It's very hard for you to convince someone to do something else when they've made their money a certain way. So our product and why we were so excited about launching this is because it was the first time that they could say, look, I can do both. I'm going to go to Milo. I'm going to pledge my Bitcoin. I'm going to be able to get financing. I'm not going to have to put a down payment. I'm going to finance 100% of the transaction. And that has been impactful. And we've seen that even through this period of volatility, customers are still coming to us every single day to get pre-qualified. And this is another set of customers that's out there that historically hasn't been. And this is important, I think, for everyone in this room to understand that there's an opportunity around these consumers.
Yeah, and building off what Joe said also, a lot of the clients that Joe lends to, I'm assuming, as well as a lot of the clients that I sell to, this may sound corny, but the Bitcoin that they hold in their wallet is very sentimental to them, especially if they bought it at $15. They don't want to get rid of it. Like Joe said, they don't want to trigger a capital gains event. That $1 million property, if they convert Bitcoin or use Bitcoin to buy that, bananas or a haircut, it's costing them $1.3 million approximately, depending on how long they've held it for. So they're just not going to do that. And the other thing, and this is extremely important, is they believe, whether I believe it or I actually do believe this as well, but they believe that the Bitcoin that they hold is going to appreciate quicker and more than their property. To them, the most significant asset that they hold in their lives, which Joe just touched on, is the Bitcoin. So why would they ever use that to buy property when they feel like it will grow significantly more than the property that they're buying? Which ideally the property grows, obviously, as we all know, over time, but they still don't feel it will grow as fast as the crypto. So the strategy that most of my clients have used, which is kind of a strategy that I conceptualized for America, is a lending strategy, a collateralized lending strategy, because there's Milo and there's others that don't offer 30-year mortgages that are just non-traditional crypto lending platforms that have only existed over the last 4 or 5 years. These are not banks, these are not regulated entities, which we can get into. So these new technologies that have been launched over the last 3 or 4 years, 99.9% of your competitors have no idea who they are or how to access them.
Madison, I see you inching
Yeah,
over.
let's touch back on that. Two things from your first question, the differences. We are bringing transactions from 30 days to 30 minutes with blockchain. And with blockchain comes fraud elimination. We are able to KYC within seconds. So we are able to eliminate identity fraud, and we are able to eliminate wire fraud. Last year alone had $200 million worth of real estate fraud, and blockchain within seconds completely erases that to zero. So those are just the main differences, that like the actual physicalities, 30 days to 30 minutes. And I mean, that's just, we're doing all the paperwork that we would do after contracts, before contracts. So by the time a contract hits your table, the deal is done. And it's just a press of a button, you just press send and you get a title sent back. What Propy is doing right now with the NFTs, quite literally 30 minutes. You just have to go to the tax collectors the next day and you just turn in your paperwork. So that is like the true differences of why we would want blockchain instead of cash. But to
So I
touch
want
on
to
what-
expand a little bit on what you said, because 10 years ago, the most interesting thing to me was people buying cars with Bitcoin and fully paying them off. In 2022, we see people listing NFTs on OpenSea for properties and actually selling them. So tell me a little bit about, and we're going to get into this wormhole, everyone loves NFTs. Tell me a little bit about how the real estate market can leverage Web3 and NFTs, whether it's titling or any of the things in between on the blockchain.
Well, remember, the number one way to get rid of your crypto right now, the most efficient, I don't want to say easiest, but is getting rid of your crypto is with real estate. If you do it properly, there are ways that you can avoid your capital gains tax for your clients. Really, it's just avoiding that 1099. And if you have clients who don't live in America, the only way you pay a capital gains tax is if you use an American-based exchange, if you have an American-based customer. There are ways around that. As of right now, for wallet-to-wallet sales, I really only have to technically do an asset transfer tax. I don't have to do a capital gains tax. The seller's not getting a capital gains. They're getting their crypto to the dollar, and they're selling it as that dollar. So they don't have to pay that. And the clients, the buyers who are sending the crypto, the only time you get 1099 is if you sell on an American-based exchange. If you're not selling, there's no proof of that. And now I can't give you tax advice, but that is the legalities behind it. Those are the fine lines.
This is not financial advice, just to let
This is
everyone
not.
know. I will have to, this is a disclaimer.
Remember, everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to need something different. All clients are going to be different. And that's what's cool about crypto is that we have a million different ways to do one transaction. There is no set in stone. You don't have to do this or have to do this. We don't have to go through title companies if we don't want to. The world is ours, and we get to create that.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point about the whole fees and from going to wallet, because right now I'm currently representing a buyer who's based out of Medellin, Colombia, and he is moving. We're in the process. We're under contract on a $12 million property right now, and he was a cash buyer. I advised him to put all of his money into a Coinbase wallet and to be able, then I had to convince the sellers to accept the cryptocurrency, and they were willing to accept it. So they're going to continue to hold the crypto. And the reason why this benefited both the buyer and the seller was because the buyer, in this case, to convert from pesos to US dollars, the fees were just astronomically high. But for him to just open up a wallet with crypto, the fees were significantly less. So it just made more sense for him altogether because that was money that he didn't have to spend in opening an account. And crypto is universal, so I'm able to do a deal with Colombia and the United States. I know that I'm watching out for the best interest for my clients at the end of the day. So naturally, now he's referring a lot of his partners, a lot of his investors to me because he's like, oh my God, Carly's saving me so much money because I don't have to pay the fees of transferring pesos to dollars. And that's where the true value is, specifically for international buyers. And it's like the crypto market, it's very important to watch what's going on in a bunch of different governments around the world because they're going to be the ones who are buying in anywhere in the United States. And we have seen this cycle like over the past couple of years. It's like first we had like issues with the euro and how the euro dollar was like matched with the US, and then with Colombia and Venezuela, Chile, and it comes in its waves. Right now, the current wave that I'm noticing is with Canada and the Canadian dollar. Like that's the market that I personally am going to be targeting very heavily within the next couple months to be able to gear more crypto buyers in this case.
I want to add one other thing to what you said. First of all, that was awesome, what you just said. You know, for me, I've done $20 million of cryptocurrency transactions over the last year or so. That $20 million of real estate that I've sold is now worth approximately $30 million. What's fantastic about the cryptocurrency buyer and the community, which I'm actively a member of and part of, and have been for many, many years, is that they're digital nomads. They make quick decisions. They make decisions they change their mind a lot. Their buying power, their purchasing power depends really on the price of Bitcoin on that day. So I've actually had transactions that almost fell away at the closing table because Bitcoin, swung down 10% overnight, and they got nervous that their net worth went down $50 million or whatever. And I'm like, calm down, you're still worth 300 million, So it's like you're still okay. But what it does is, the traditional residential, and I focus primarily on residential. I know Carly does commercial, and Madison does primarily residential as well. The traditional residential buyer looks to stay in their home 7 to 10 years. The traditional digital nomad in cryptocurrency is looking to 3 to 5 years. So that means that 20 million in property that I sold them, which is now 30 million, probably in a couple of years, probably after the Bitcoin halving, when Bitcoin probably probably goes up in value, right, Anna? They will either want to sell their property and buy a more expensive property, or they will want to lease out their current property and buy another property. The point is that from that one customer, I'm literally doing probably 3 or 4 transactions with that customer in a 3 to 5 year time period, where another traditional residential customer, I'm doing 1 transaction every 7 years.
So, Carly, I want to give this back to you. Can you tell me the difference, or the advantages of working with crypto and commercial properties?
Sure. So commercial is very black and white. It's not emotional whatsoever. You have to be good at math. You have to know your numbers and be very straightforward. And by having crypto and like just the entire space of the blockchain, whether it be like metaverse, NFTs, cryptocurrencies, when I talk with my clients, I talk to them like a full business transaction. If I get too detailed with them about the technology and how it works, I lose them because they're just not interested at this point. But when I approach them and I'm like, I have a way for you to make more money, I have a way for you to save more money, then I get their attention. And then I just briefly cover the surface as to how I'm using the blockchain to get there, but I don't really tell them in specific what we're doing because then it just loses them. So at the end of the day, business is business. It doesn't matter like whether you're selling like Brazilian ovens or you're selling like a luxury penthouse or you're selling like a huge like a commissary kitchen in a warehouse. It's all the same thing because the numbers at the end of the day are always going to be consistent. So just by treating it like normal business, just explaining the numbers, it's a very seamless process with commercial.
I'm going to touch on that emotional part. When I had to do the wallet-to-wallet residential sales, you have sellers who are the ones like they're trying to not accept millions of dollars worth of crypto. You really have to come up with those selling points on how to sell the seller, right? And they are emotional. They want their money. This is their money. This is their house. You know, they have a lot more ties to it versus a commercial. And to come up with those selling points, you really have to, it is different. Like I've had to hire a lawyer to handhold the other side, just genuinely just to be a handholder. It's just to set up their wallet and to do everything for them, to exchange it for them. And they just want that extra support. That's really all it is. It's just someone else to be there, someone who's knowledgeable on their side, and to help guide them.
So we are in the beautiful city of Miami. Oh, did you want to say something?
No, that was
No? Okay. We are in the beautiful city of Miami, and right down the street from here, we actually had what used to be known as the American Airlines Arena. Not too long ago, it was bought out, I think a 10-year contract by FTX, and that contract has been null and void. How has the FTX fallout, and for those of you who don't know, FTX imploded just about a month ago. It was probably one of the #1 exchanges globally because they were a global exchange, and there's a lot of shady stuff going on there, so it ended up imploding. But how has this affected your clients, your market, your business? How have people viewed this positively or negatively, and how do you answer those questions? Joseph, I want to start with you.
Joe made a lot of money because of that, because all the clients that left FTX are looking at a reputable company. How's
Yeah.
that for a layup?
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, I think, look, the reality is that crypto has these waves where people are very bullish on it and then very negative. Right now, we're going through the negative part of it because people have taken advantage of other people and done things that are fraudulent, scams, and people thought that they could trust that company. So for us, it has impacted our business because we are having customers that are asking us, where do you custody clients' crypto? How are you insured? How are you regulated? Who oversees your business? What have you done? And that level of transparency that now we have to provide our clients is something that we've always done from day one. But now I think that customers are definitely seeking to work with companies that have that transparency and have no problem basically disclosing what they're doing, how they're doing it, where's a digital asset. So for us, when we started, we did a screen with over 10 to 12 different custodians when we were going to decide to hold customers' assets for these crypto mortgages. Ultimately, we settled with Coinbase and with Gemini. And the reason why we settled with them is because they were here in the US, they were regulated, they were audited. How their business was structured was as a trust entity, which is very different than a platform that has an exchange. And that level of diligence that we did has held up true through this period of time where there's so many other actors that are no longer in business right now. But customers do expect that, and they do expect you to respond quickly, explain to them how you're doing things. And in our case, we hold our customers' assets, which are their assets, they're not our assets. We hold them through Coinbase. Coinbase has them in segregated vaults for us. Every single client has different accounts, and it's in a trust entity, which means that if Coinbase were ever to fail, then that is basically circled exactly for that particular client. It's on chain. We can see it. We can see if anybody's moving it, if anything's being touched. So that level of transparency we can provide to our clients. And as a company, we've done loans from 150,000 all the way up to 10 million. We've done multiple, $2, $3 million mortgages on the crypto side. So this matters, right, for these customers because they don't think about that $3 million of Bitcoin just as $3 million. They're actually thinking about what it could actually be worth. And there have been times in history, which we've seen some of those things with Mt. Gox and others. It's not where it is today, it's what it will be worth, and that's the emotional thing for them. So I think they expect that.
Let me add to what Joseph also said, because he didn't mention the key word, which was rehypothecation. Celsius and BlockFi were two of the biggest crypto lending platforms in the world, and they both claimed bankruptcy recently. Their business model is structured like this. I, as a customer, provide my crypto or Bitcoin on the platform, and they pay me a 5%, hypothetically, 5% interest rate yearly on my Bitcoin, which is pretty good considering the banks give us a Shake Shack burger. So they were giving 5% on Bitcoin. I would put my Bitcoin on Celsius or BlockFi. They would then take that and lend it out to someone else at 10%, and they would make that 5% spread in the middle. Great business model, except when Celsius or BlockFi takes their clients' money and rehypothecates it to lends it out to other clients without taking collateral back from that other client. So they were basically essentially a gambling, a casino, where they were taking their customers' money and investing it in mining operations and making investments with it, doing whatever the hell they wanted with those assets. And the one thing that Milo does not do, which is really important for you and for any of your customers who may use Milo to borrow crypto, is that Joe and his company do not rehypothecate those assets. Therefore, they're held in custody and remain ownership with the clients, so that the company's Milo is not using that as his Joe's not using that as his own casino. He's just operating like a traditional mortgage company, taking a percentage on the crypto from lending it out, and that's what his business model is based around, because he comes from the traditional mortgage industry and offers 30-year mortgages. So that's really what happened recently with these other crypto lending platforms. There's probably 3 or 4 out there that I would recommend right now, Abra being the number one crypto lending platform that I'm recommending my clients to use if they want just a crypto loan. But certainly Milo is my preferred vehicle for the traditional mortgages, which many people in this room are more familiar with than some of the other non-traditional stuff that I also use and been successful using.
There's 2 really important items that I want to discuss regarding the FTX collapse. So one, I don't know how much people know about the purchases of the homes that FTX made for a lot of their executives, is that they were using the money to buy homes all over the world for executives that worked at FTX. And the reason why this is really important is because I read this article recently that said that when you buy a property with an LLC, you only need to report less than 30% of where the funds come from. And then the remaining 70-ish%, you don't have to report where it's from. So this is a huge concern because you don't have to report where that money is coming from. And this is why, like in the due diligence period, and this is just like my opinion as to like why I think the deal was backed out of when everything happened, was because they weren't able to see like where the money was redirected into. I feel like a lot of it is in real estate. So it's kind of like if you see those movies where they're like robbing a bank or they're taking a bunch of gold or diamonds, the first thing that people do in these movies is like they chop it all up and then they disperse it everywhere so it can't be tracked. And I feel like FTX did this with real estate, is that they used all the funds and then they dispersed it across many LLCs because they only have to report less than 30% of it. And now, like moving forward, when you see that the majority of properties are bought under LLCs, then it makes you wonder, okay, where is this money coming from? And is it going to be something that other exchanges are going to be looking at too? And second, with FTX collapsing, it's showing that this is an industry that's not going away. And unfortunately, one company impacted the entire space in general. So it's like just because one company fails doesn't mean that they're all going to fail. It's like anything. Look at how many social media outlets there are on the App Store. You don't see like Instagram going out of business or Twitter or Facebook because somebody made like a random app out there that's also supposed to be a social media platform. So just because one fails doesn't mean that the entire market is going to fail. And I feel like that's the biggest discrepancy that FTX has caused, is that it's given a very negative connotation towards the entire crypto space in general. But if you're a true investor and if you're willing to, if you know that this is something that's going to survive, this is an opportunistic time to like invest for yourself or invest like in another company, explore other exchanges. But it's just showing that it's not going away and you have to continue to look at other things that are out there.
You can always tell someone's crypto knowledge when they ask you, what do you think about the market? Because the OGs, like if you've been through Mt. Gox was 70% of the market. FTX was barely 30. So, way back in the day in 2014 when Mt. Gox went down, it was literally double what it is now. And look at us now, and look where we will be. So there's genuinely, like, you can tell someone's crypto knowledge when they ask you, what do you think about the market? Because OGs, we don't ask each other about the market. We know where it's going. We know what's going to be happening. We know we don't have to worry. We're just sitting and waiting.
What do you think about the market?
Not so good right now. So I was with PMG Group the other night. They are building the 11 residences. They're announcing. I don't know if they have yet a third tower, not affiliated, not branded by 11, but built by PMG Group. They're also building the Waldorf. They were using, and there were several other brokers too, or developers that were using FTX as an intermediary. So if I was a buyer and I wanted to buy pre-construction property in 11 and I had crypto, I would send my crypto to FTX. FTX, I think, would take a 0.25 or 1%. 1% transaction fee. They would convert it into dollars, and the dollars would get sent to the developer. So the developer, PMG, is not holding crypto or Bitcoin on their books. I would recommend that they did, but that's neither here nor there. What I said to PMG was, these crypto buyers that bought the initial, your pre-construction properties, do you think that they're going to close on the transaction, or are they going to have issues with closing because crypto has gone down in value because FTX is not in the market anymore? And PMG told me that they believe 100% of their transactions are going to close because their clients, their buyers, smartly did not over-leverage their platform. Over-leverage their portfolio. So when the market turned negatively a little bit, they still had a large enough cushion to withhold them through these turbulent times. So the short answer is that FTX hasn't affected real estate, in my opinion, at all. It has affected the Bitcoin prices, which then affects our customers' buying capability, their purchasing power. It affects their purchasing power. Maybe they'll stay out of the market a little bit till the market turns again, probably towards the tail end of 2023. But again, the $20 million of real estate that I sold, I would not have sold that if not for cryptocurrency. So my question to all of you who are trying to sell real estate in the audience is, do you want to be a part of that market? Because it's only going to grow, in my opinion. And I think the answer should be yes.
Okay, well, with growing, I'll throw this one in there. There are more people born in 1991 than any other year in the entire world. There are more people the ages 29 to 34 than any other age group in the entire world. And you guys know what we're all doing right now? We're looking to buy homes. Like, we're just now mentally starting to plan on purchasing homes. And millennials are half in stock and half in crypto, whereas Gen Zs, they're all in crypto. And this year, in 2021, over 50%, it was 51 or 49, was millennial purchases, and 15% was Gen Z purchases. So Gen Z is just now starting to purchase. We have more than half of the market purchasing. They invest in more than half of their savings into crypto. So we are just now starting this wave of crypto purchases. We are not even a year in. We have not even started. We haven't even begun to hit the crisp of the starting.
There's 100,000 Bitcoin millionaires. Guess where most of them are moving to? Miami.
I can testify to that. So I want to ask one last question just to wrap this panel up. And we all talked about the yes, the no's, the hows, the twos, but where do you get these clients? Where do you find these clients?
I order mine on Amazon.
Places like this, just conferences, crypto events, people, friends.
All right, so I'm going to do my little shill here. You see this code, this scan code? I'm releasing a cryptocurrency transaction masterclass for it's less than 5 hours of your time. You'll understand how to execute transactions in crypto from A to Z. And I also teach people how I was able to get all of these clients and how I continue to get clients. And I also give away or show you how to get free cryptocurrency during the course. So if you register now, you'll get like a cheaper discount code. It's a free sign up. You just enter your email. You don't have to put your credit card in or anything. But you could scan the code or come scan my badge after, and I'll show you how you can sell $20 million in real estate also for less than 5 hours of your time.
Yeah, so in our case, I think we came out with this crypto mortgage category in the beginning of the year. We've had a lot of success with it. So every day you're pretty close to 1,000 customers that come to our site every single day. And they come to our site for a couple of reasons. One is primarily because they know we do mortgages, but two, it's because they want to know how much they can actually purchase. They want to get pre-qualified. So we actually have a pre-qualification product for our international clients, people that have crypto, as well as US clients as well, but within 5 minutes, they can basically spit out a letter that says how much they can actually afford. They can decide, depending on if they qualify, to get a regular mortgage with us, or they can get a crypto-backed mortgage with us. But that distinction is really, really powerful for all of you because you don't have to guess whether this person has enough. They come to us in an unbiased way on their phone, 5 minutes, right? Fully digital experience, put in some information, they're gonna spit out a letter, you get them pre-qualified, and then you know exactly where you stand, so you're not gonna waste your time with someone that you think maybe has a tremendous amount of crypto because they act like they have a lot of it, versus someone that you may not think and they come in flip-flops and then you find out they actually have $100 million in Bitcoin. So it's very important for them to get pre-qualified. So.
At the end of the day, people work with people that they trust and who are knowledgeable in the space. So the way, I guess to answer the question simply is how do you get the clients? It's, well, are you educated in the space? Do you currently invest personally in the space? Have you ever done a transaction in that in the past? So it all just comes down to really your reputation and your knowledge and everything. It's like any and everything. So if you come across as a trusted, reliable source that could do a transaction like this, naturally people are going to come to you. And having worked with a couple people, I find that now 50% of all of my business is just referral based because it's like you have one successful transaction and it's a domino effect from there.
I think that there's less than 10 realtors in America that know how to conduct transactions the way that we do on this stage, and 3 of the 10 are sitting right here. It's a very, very, very niche market. That people in, like Carly said, that people in the crypto community are looking for trusted individuals that understand the vernacular, understand the space, understand Milo, understand their offerings, understand that Milo has a 35% margin call, which is the best margin call rate of any of their competitors in the market right now. You have to be more educated than your clients when it comes to this. Otherwise, they don't really need you. So whether you're a lender, an investor, or a realtor, I think it would behoove you to understand how to conduct crypto real estate transactions. Definitely leading into 2023.
And with that, I will say in 2008, Satoshi gave us the gift of Bitcoin. Since then, it is a multi-trillion-dollar market. Cryptocurrency as a whole, that is. So if you're interested in learning more, please talk to these wonderful panelists. They are very educated. I can testify for Eric. I can testify for Joseph. I can testify for Madison. Carly, I just met, but her voice has reason. So give it up for our wonderful panelists. And I hope to see you on the crypto side.